And real wasabi is like truffles. So what is wasabi made from? Real wasabi.
Well, I think it's a root, isn't it? Bailey, do you know that?
Yeah, it's a plant
Like a truffle.
that gets, mashed down into that sort of spread-like consistency.
How about this for a Japanese restaurant? Kim wasabi.
I don't get it.
It's time for another episode of Charbroiled Chats.
I should have looked up where did factoid come from. Did you look that up already?
Of course.
Of course. Silly you.
Oxford English Dictionary. Writing which contains a mixture of fact and supposition or invention presented as accepted fact. It's not just a small fact. The word factoid means a mistaken assumption, repeated so often that it is believed to be true.
Wow.
So
So I thought factoid was just a little fact.
That's what I thought
Right.
too until I looked it up.
A mini fact.
Uh-oh.
yeah.
Does that mean everything I wrote down then is moot?
Well, it depends.
Okay.
Some factoids are just accepted, apparently, even though they're not true. We want so badly to believe them.
See, on what I wrote down then, I only have two things really that would be factoids. Everything else is a fact. A little known fact.
Oh.
So maybe we could talk about both.
Yeah, what's the difference? We don't care what the definition is.
No, we don't.
It's never stopped us before.
Yeah, mine are the same, Grace. Mine are things that are true.
If it's a little fact or a fake fact, I've always liked them because it makes you sound smart. You can bring it up at a cocktail party. Are there still cocktail parties?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think so.
I've been to one.
I don't go to them, but I think they still exist.
Especially if you like ask the question, ask it as a question, then you know the answer and nobody else can possibly know.
So you say, did you know that?
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, you're so smart.
Well, it's funny. The one factoid that I always bring up, so I'm going to use my definition of factoid. The one factoid I always bring up, no one ever does know.
Okay.
And it's the sole fact that I remember from earth science, which is the reason that even though the days are longer in June, it's hotter in, the amount of daylight is longer in June, it's hotter in August. And it's because there's a thing called insolation versus insulation. And I don't remember which is which, but that's what makes the difference.
Well, sol means sun.
Yes. Yeah. So maybe it's insulation is what makes August hotter. So I suppose if I wanted to use that as a factoid that proved my intelligence, then I should maybe know the difference. But anyway, there is a reason.
It still keeps getting warmer because of the insulation of the atmosphere or something.
Something like that.
Yeah. So you really seem to have a sketchy understanding
Factoid.
of this factoid.
I shouldn't be using that one, obviously.
On Fishing with Rick, you brought that up.
Did I? Okay. See, that's the only one I know.
You're so proud of that one earth science thing that stuck with you.
Yeah, and I don't really even know it. That's what's so funny.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it, but I don't really even know it.
That's another layer of the definition. It's a small fact. It's a fact that's not really a fact, and it's something that you can't even place.
Oh my God.
Okay.
That's when you go to the bar and get another drink at your
Right.
cocktail party. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Oops, sorry.
True or false? I know the answer.
Of course.
The sun never sets on the British Empire.
Well, I mean, it used to be true, right?
Yeah,
Is it still?
that's the question.
Are you asking if it's still true?
Yeah, true or false?
Is that like, what's the color of George Washington's white horse? Is it one of
Yeah,
those?
or who's buried in Grant's tomb.
Right.
It's not really a trick, except the British Empire obviously is not what it used to be.
It shrunk.
So could it still be true?
I'm going to say it is still true. I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, of course. Of course, it has to be.
It has to be.
The British Empire has 14 territories. It sets on the Cayman Islands, and then it comes up in the British Indian Ocean Territory. And in between those two places, there's only one tiny place, Pitcairn Island, where the survivors of mutiny on the Bounty settled.
Yeah, I remember that name.
That's still a British territory, so the sun hits there. So it's still true that the sun never sets on the British Empire.
And the Queen owns all the unclaimed swans in England.
The Queen does?
The Queen does. If they're not claimed, she owns them.
Wow.
Isn't that weird? Like,
That's a good
what a
factoid. I like that
weird
one.
thing. Yeah.
Here's one along the leader of a country.
We should have had cocktails with this.
I know we should have. You're right. Did you know that the Pope cannot be an organ donor?
Why?
Well, apparently in 1970, Pope Benedict the 16th was issued an organ donor card. All right, but once he ascended to the papacy, the card was invalid because the Pope's entire body must be buried intact because his body belongs to the Catholic Church.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a good one.
That is weird.
Isn't it bizarre?
Yeah.
What if his airplane goes down?
What if his plane goes down?
Yeah.
Or if his Pope mobile crashes?
Yeah. And if there are body parts that they can't identify or something.
Yeah. There's like a debris field that the Catholic Church claims.
Like if there were
claims
multiple
as-
people dead,
Yeah.
they wouldn't know
Right.
which part was his necessarily all the time, right?
But they're not snatching his heart out of the ocean to give it to somebody else.
Right.
See what I mean?
Right.
Why do they claim the body? I mean, why? I mean, is he considered?
Yeah.
Is he godlike? Is he?
Well, he leads the
technically-
entire Catholic Grace. You can speak this better than I can, maybe.
Maybe
But the
not.
The fact that he is, the almighty Catholic leader,
Right.
thus he belongs to the church.
Huh.
The church is where he's his final resting place, I guess. I don't know.
Probably has something to do with the fact that something like no one can inherit his money then or something, and the church can keep it all. Because that's what almost every other rule is about, is so that the church can keep the money and the land.
Yeah, that's true. I've
What
heard that.
about every previous pope? Do they have every part of every previous pope?
Every part?
I don't know.
I would imagine they do. Aren't they all in the catacombs underneath? Don't they all get buried down there?
Yeah, I think they do.
The Vatican or
Underneath the
St. Peter's.
St. Peter's, right?
Yeah.
That's a good.
You ever been to St. Peter's?
Yeah.
I have.
That's fantastic.
The catacombs are super cool and creepy.
They are.
There's only a couple of things that ever lived up to the billing for me, like Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
It's just a big waterfall. But the Grand Canyon and the Vatican, to me.
I totally agree with the Grand Canyon. The Vatican, I guess I never had an image of what it would
Well,
be
if you put it in context that they built it in the 1500s or something,
Oh.
how the heck
Yeah.
did they do that?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
When I went, I walked up in the dome. Did you
Oh.
get to do that?
No.
Right.
So
Wow.
you walk this stairway, kind of winds around and around on its way up the dome, and it gets narrower and narrower. And you're in this little tiny staircase where
Oh,
you could be.
weird.
It's highly claustrophobic. But once you come out, there's like a catwalk, a walkway around the inside of the dome,
Wow.
and so you can see outside. You can see all of Rome, but you
Oh,
can
how
also see
cool.
the church down below, and it's just and you get close to the intricacies of the dome as well. It's really spectacular.
Right. There's a long description of that in one of those, I think in one of those Dan Brown's, the
Right.
Da Vinci Code or something. And it's just like you said, they were chasing some guy along the catwalk, and it sounded amazing.
I didn't even know that was something you could do.
Yeah, did you have a special pass or were you just wandering around?
Well, you know what? I looked it up in my Rick Steves tour book.
Huh.
Yeah.
I wonder if other people don't know that then.
No, you have to kind of get
You
a
do,
ticket
okay.
to do it.
You do,
You can only go up one side and come down
Mhm.
the other. And I lost my 87-year-old mother
Oh.
while we were doing it. So
How is
was
it possible to lose her?
That's a whole
something
nother
like that?
story altogether.
That's not a factoid.
Oh
No.
no, that's real. It was very real. Anyway, that's another time.
Well, so body parts then. Apparently, your tongue can be used in biometric applications because it is a unique body part.
You have a whole section on body parts. You
So,
heard the Pope thing and then you went right to
well, no, but I figured I would look in my list and see if there are any body-oriented factoids, and there is one, and it's they call it the novel biometrics pattern is your tongue, so that you could maybe someday, could you imagine like that scene in Mission Impossible when he does his eye up to it and instead he does his tongue?
Lick it. Lick the sensor.
So you're saying your tongue is like a fingerprint?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Huh.
was going to say it's as unique as a fingerprint. Wow.
Yep.
How
Yep.
come they don't use it more often for?
I think
'Cause
we
it's
just
wet.
noted that, didn't we? I mean, like, how would you imagine like licking your phone and
Licking the ink pad before you.
Like, what I wonder is, I have to say, being in the school that I am these days, like the little, the littlest thing that you can study, they study. Do you know what I mean? And maybe this is true. Like, I didn't get my PhD in English because I thought I would have to paint myself into a little theoretical corner, right? And I guess with almost every kind of research, you have to do that. So they've got like these really, a study on the fingernail of your pinky and, its microbiome or something. I don't know. The tongue thing just strikes me that way.
And how do you get that job, or how do you want that job?
I don't know.
You apply for a grant.
Yes.
Yeah, that applies to everything. I mean, academia is packed with people that study things that you can't imagine.
Totally.
What do you
Totally.
do with your life when you get to that point? When you're...
Well, and they all know it too. I mean, they all say, we have like this huge amount of knowledge on a very narrow
Right.
topic,
Right.
and then we don't know anything else.
Right.
Right.
And I guess you do have to paint yourself into that corner if you're going to get ahead.
Yeah, you do, because you have to be doing something that's novel in that field. It means just something new that hasn't been discovered before or hasn't been done before, or whatever.
If you had gone for your PhD, what corner would you have painted yourself into?
Well, it would have been something with film, but I don't know exactly what it would have been.
I guess it doesn't matter now.
No, it doesn't. I'm never going to get it.
I guess it wouldn't have mattered then either.
Maybe not.
Catalog music is defined as any music more than 18 months old, and 2/3 of streaming music is catalog music. In other words, most people listening to Spotify or whatever are not listening to new music. 2/3 of it is old, and some of it is very old.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any conclusion to draw from that. But
Well, no, because you're a music hater. So you have a lot of nerve bringing that up, Walt.
yeah. But it explains why all these old rock groups, the guys are, 78 years old and they're hitting the road to do concerts. And
Oh, yeah.
because people are still interested in the older
Yep.
stuff. I mean, I think it was a surprise to the industry to find out just how much people.
It surprised them. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't, because apparently, for example, the only people making music touring these days are the tribute bands.
Yeah. And so they're not necessarily the old guys, but they're doing the old music.
Yeah.
Huh.
Right. They could just be a studio band, and the one remaining member of the band pushes up on stage in a wheelchair.
It'll be interesting as time goes on if that number increases. In other words, the music freezes at 1995 or something, and nobody cares about new music at all.
Yeah, I don't think that's, because I think it's sort of like the collection idea that you collect and care about the things from your childhood.
Right.
And I think it's probably you care most about the music, although it's not always true, but you care a lot about the music that you grew up with, or, that has a lot of emotional meaning for you.
Right.
So, over time, the people who are 10 years old now, like Justin Bieber, will be, something that they want to listen to all the time when they're 60.
Kids who are 10 probably don't know who Justin Bieber is.
now he's too old for them, right?
Yeah. He is now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so. Sorry, boy, that was embarrassing. What about BTS? Would they like BTS?
Does Walt know what BTS is?
Do you know what BTS is?
Is that the Korean?
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah,
I
very good.
usually call them BTK when I say something to Louise about them. I always call them BTK. BTS?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Best something, I think.
Big time singers.
Maybe. Could be.
They're super styling, though. They're super styling.
Why are there so many of them? That's what
I don't
understand.
know. I don't
I
know,
think
because
that's
then they
just
have to split
insane.
the money 6 ways,
Right.
Why can't there just be 4?
Like all the rest of the boy bands, right?
Yeah, they have to split the money 14 ways to.
Wally, I started watching that show that you mentioned.
Oh yeah.
What was it? Pop? Well, I can't even remember the
Yeah, that was good.
name of it. But it was Bailey. It's all about, like, they take one kind of narrowish topic in pop music and they do an episode on it. And one of them was about the first real boy group like that in the modern era, which was Boys to Men, a black group, and then all the white groups knocked them off and then just got, killed their career, basically.
Which is the history of rock, right?
Do you know the Sparks Brothers?
Yeah, Sparks.
No, there's a new documentary.
Yeah.
People, it seems like everybody I've mentioned to, they either never heard of them or they love them.
There's nothing in the middle. Yeah.
I belong in the former category on that.
I'm in the middle, actually. I know some of their songs, and if I never heard them again, I'd be fine.
Yeah.
But I liked them. So
Edgar Wright, I guess, loves them.
Oh, the director.
Yeah.
I can't remember what else he directed.
Fuzz,
Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz.
Oh, that's a funny movie.
Zombie one.
Oh, right.
Wow. Shaun of the Dead.
And lately some other ones. But
yeah.
He apparently loves them. They say the documentary is great, even if you don't know who they are.
Yeah, I think that's funny sometimes. Like when I went to see Roadrunner. Believe it or not, I never read any of Anthony Bourdain's books, nor did I ever watch any of his TV shows, even though I've wanted to, but I just never got around to it. But Roadrunner I went to see, and it was, I don't know, I liked it more when I got out of the movie than about a week later, so.
I have a friend who's leaning on me to go see it. And like you, Grace, I never really watched him or followed him at all, so I'm kind of going, I don't know if I really want to go, but it sounds semi-intriguing.
It was. Anyway. So food related then, since we're on Anthony Bourdain.
Oh, you've got a food category too.
Yeah, so most was, well, I didn't really categorize them, but I'm just trying to have some, because I am a little bit obsessive compulsive, so I'm trying to organize this in some way, but
right.
most wasabi in the U.S. is actually horseradish, mustard seeds, and green dye.
Say that.
So
again.
we're not getting
green
the real
dye.
Green dye. We're not getting the real shit.
Can you say that again?
It shocked you so much that you need it repeated. Most wasabi in the U.S. is horseradish, mustard seed, and green dye.
Oh, okay. As opposed to
real wasabi.
Real wasabi.
Yeah.
I see. And
yes.
Real wasabi is like truffles? Or what is wasabi made
I don't know. I don't know if it's as valuable as truffles, but obviously it's probably cheaper to make it out of horseradish.
Huh. What is wasabi made from? Real wasabi?
Well, I think it's a root, isn't it? Bailey, do you know that?
Yeah, it's a plant
like a truffle
that gets, mashed down into that sort of spread-like consistency.
How about this for a Japanese restaurant? Kim wasabi.
I don't get it.
Kimosabi?
I don't get it. Oh, jeez. See, no one would get. You'd have to be 80. You have to be 80 years old to get that, right? Wow.
Seriously, Walt.
Maybe I didn't say it right.
I'm surprised I got it.
Did you notice the incredible lag and pause after you said it from both of us?
I like the way it sat there.
I was like, what the hell is he talking about?
Yeah.
Like a lead balloon.
During the last half of the 20th century, the typical American, it doesn't say average, it says typical, watched 88,000 hours of television.
When was this?
The last half of the 20th century. If you do the math, it comes out to 4.8 hours a day. So it's not an unreasonable statement.
It's not.
So 88,000 total.
Or it wasn't per year.
Or was it me personally, if I watched TV over a 50-year span, it would equate to 88,000 hours?
Huh.
Right.
Interesting. Hopefully not too close to the screen because that'll kill you.
Yeah, right. But even think of it as half that much. If you watched, you might have watched half that much. Think what 40,000 hours of anything would do to your brain.
I think I watched the majority of TV from, when I was a kid, like until I left high school. And then it slowly got less and less.
Now we just watch our phones.
Yeah.
4 hours a day.
Yeah. Now, okay, here's another thing about people. Did you have another people-oriented one?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Leonardo DiCaprio owns the Maltese Falcon.
The prop?
Or the movie itself?
The prop.
Oh, that's cool.
But
how'd he get that?
It's more complicated than that.
How'd he get it?
If you really want to know, there's a Vanity Fair article that Quentin Tarantino said that. It's not exactly, maybe, probably not true.
Oh, so that is a factoid.
That is a factoid,
It is a real
exactly.
fact. It's very complicated. I couldn't begin to recount it, but it's there are competing Maltese Falcons.
Oh,
it could be the real one, might not be.
Yeah.
The Vanity Fair article is really talk about painting yourself into a corner of micro corner.
Yeah.
The person who wrote that article really went deep.
Yeah, but sometimes that makes the best things to read, right?
Yeah, it's worth just look up Vanity Fair Maltese Falcon.
Yeah, will do. Well, did you know that Tuesday is the day when most people are late for work? When the most people are late for work?
Tuesday.
I would think it'd be Monday.
Yeah. Why?
It didn't say.
Oh my God. You're not backing up your factoids.
I know. See, maybe that's why people called me the trivia queen and not the factoid queen, because I would know an answer, but I would have nothing else about it that I knew.
Yeah. Maybe that's the teaching part of your Grace. You throw it out there and you say, discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's hotter in August, even though the sun is
right.
I can't tell you why, but it is.
Because I said so.
Factoids are like jokes, though, to me. I can't remember a joke for the life of me.
I can't either.
Same with factoids. They just disappear. They come and go.
I only know one joke, that I can reliably repeat, and it's two peanuts were walking down the street and one was assaulted.
Wow.
Now, I believe that's the killing joke from Monty Python, I think, isn't it?
I don't recognize it, but it could be, yeah.
Even though I love jokes
Kim
and there's
Wasabi.
so many. Yeah, well, Kim Wasabi is now probably
Not a bad joke.
How many times has your son rolled his eyes when he's heard that joke
Oh my God,
from you?
my son and my
nephews, because like at family dinners and everything, I'll be like, hey, James, two peanuts are walking down the street. What was assault? They're like, oh my God.
Why are you so old?
Did I tell you that Louise says that to me?
Why are you so old?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Kleenex tissues were originally intended for gas masks. So there was a cotton shortage during World War I, and Kimberly Clark, the tissue paper company, they developed a thin, flat cotton substitute that they tried to use as a filter in the gas masks. And before the war ended, before they could perfect the material for the masks, so the company decided they redeveloped it to be smoother and softer, and then they marketed it as Kleenex and facial tissue.
Disposable handkerchief.
Wow. That's right.
Huh.
Were the guys in the trenches using it as like toilet paper, and they got that idea, or
right, or stuffing it in their ears?
Yeah. Could you make this softer? That'd be great. Forget the gas mask.
They're in latrines and they used it there.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know.
So is that the beginning of toilet paper too?
Doesn't say.
I don't really want to know about the beginning of toilet paper. Not really.
Where was the transition from corn cob to toilet paper?
I said I don't want to know about it.
Right after the Civil War, I'm guessing.
You could probably get a grant.
It gives new meaning to corn cob pipe. Oh dear.
Well, there had to be a transition, right?
Yes. Why don't you look that up while we're talking? So whose turn is it next?
I don't know if we're going by turn.
Oh, we're not. Okay.
Nah, just jump in.
Well, did you know?
That's what she was waiting for.
Pigs don't sweat. So if you say I'm sweating like a pig, you mean that you're not sweating, because pigs don't have sweat glands.
Wow.
And they don't sweat.
So how did that become a saying?
I don't know.
That could have been your PhD.
Yeah, actually, the origins of that, yes.
Tracing that back. And
there is a book in that, absolutely.
The first sweating pig reference.
A dissertation, yep.
Well, the other expression is sweating like a farm animal. Which one of those came first, do you think?
I never heard that other one.
Yeah, me neither, Bailey.
Oh, my Lord,
No.
Really? We use it all the time.
That must have just been a Smith family thing.
Yeah.
Actually, that came from my husband.
Oh, the other side.
I'm sweating like a farm animal, he says when he's out working in the yard.
Wow.
That's funny. Because really, when you think about it, probably a lot of farm animals don't sweat. I mean, do chickens sweat? Do goats sweat? I mean, do any of them really sweat?
Now that you mention it, Cecilia says, I'm sweating like a monkey.
Like a monkey?
Yeah.
Well, that's because she's from Guam.
Yeah. Maybe there are all kinds of national sweating like
expressions, right? Well, dogs sweat by panting.
So that's technically right, not sweating, is it? Or is it?
Yeah, they get rid of the heat in their body.
Yeah.
I'm sweating like a cannoli. Or
I'm sweating like a bonobo.
What's a bonobo?
It's a kind of a monkey, I believe, like a primate of some kind or something. I know that there's all the different categories, so I don't want to misspeak, although I keep misspeaking. But apparently even that is misnamed because the ship that was like as carrying them, like these monkeys or whatever, like it said it was going to Bolobo, Bolobo, and instead they thought that was the name of the monkey and they called it the bonobo, or I don't even see. Once again, factoid that I cannot even.
Maybe the monkey looked like Sonny Bono, so they called it a bonobo.
Bonobos are hilarious, though.
They are?
There's a colony of them at the Nashville Zoo.
Really?
Really close to humans. I mean, in a way that's much more than chimps or...
Really?
Yeah, like there'd be one there sitting playing with straw, and there'd be another one collecting rocks, and then there'd be two older ones over in a corner, like chatting to each other. It could be like a Norman Rockwell scene.
One's reading the New York Times.
Yeah. And they have huge red butts too.
Oh, those.
Yeah, those. But they are fascinating to watch.
Huh.
And I wonder why the Nashville Zoo has.
Yeah, I don't know.
They don't deserve them, do they?
No. Maybe they're country bonobos.
Country bonobos.
We should have had cocktails. This would.
Now here's another animal thing. Did you know that?
Oh yeah, the animal category.
Toto.
Okay.
In the original stage play of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz was a cow. And could you imagine, like, how would that have worked in the movie? Like, she puts the cow in the basket in her bike, and the cow's flying around the inside of the tornado. And
well, actually, I think in the movie there is a cow flying around the tornado, but
maybe
it's not
that's
Toto.
Maybe that's a little homage to Toto.
So when did that change? At some point in the play, or?
Why are you asking me that? You should know that I don't know.
I know you don't have a clue.
Wah, wah.
When they decided to make the movie.
You should know that I'm not going to know the answer to that.
Yeah, I know you don't have a clue. Well, I'm thinking like, Jack Mayer said, we can't have a cow.
Well, I mean, maybe I wonder if they even had like a real cow in the stage play and it was like
shitting all over the stage. And they're like, we got to get rid of this.
Yeah, we got to put a cow pie in the basket when she rides the bike.
Well, on that happy note, another episode of Charbroiled Chats comes to a close. But rest assured, whatever you would like to talk about, we are listening. So go ahead, tweet us at CharbroilC or email us at charbroiledchats@gmail.com. Of course, we'd love it if you'd head over to iTunes or YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts and write a review of Charbroiled Chats. And please, subscribe, like, follow, comment. And most of all, tell all your friends about Charbroiled Chats. See you next time.